Okay, let's check out today's foot care kit. So this is the one item I never go rucking without, my foot care kit. And I've got this in an Emerald stock flat pack, just a standard old pack. I got this for about $4 or $5 as a freebie or a giveaway or something. And I've just got a couple of things in here. This is everything I carry in my foot care kit. I've always got all this in there, and I got everything individually wrapped, so it stays waterproof. The first thing we'll start with is these clippers. So these are from Fox Medical. They're surgical stainless steel. We've got a little flip lever for spring loaded, and come with a little a safety cap. And I prefer these over the standard little fold away clippers, just because these are a little bit more rugged. And I find that particularly with my toenails, after a couple of weeks of rucking, they'll get pretty thick, and those other ones, unless they're really high quality, just don't seem to have the leverage. So I just like these bigger ones, and I can get deeper into the corners of the nail, and and dig at stuff that's getting a little bit harder to get to. So I prefer these, right, this style right here. Next thing I carry are these little poke and prod tools. So this is again from Fox Medical, surgical stainless steel. We've got three tools here. First one is this file. So this is just a standard file. So some people advocate for using one of the little cardboard fiberboard ones that you can throw away, and that's fine if that's what you prefer. You can get the littler ones, but this weighs next to nothing, and you can sterilize it. So you can just wipe it down with one of the alcohol wipes, and it's just fine. And it's just got two prodding tools. A pointier one. It's not necessarily super sharp. It's just a little pointier, digging junk out and cleaning out under your nails. And then these flat tools. These are just little flat tools for pushing back cuticles and getting underneath the nail and digging stuff out. So and they just come in this little plastic container, not quite waterproof, but just keeps it from getting too funky. And again, they're surgical stainless steel. You can just sterilize them pretty easily. Just keep those there. I haven't found a better system other than this. I'm sure there's something I could do. Maybe, I don't know, tape it or something, but that seems to work okay. Had that for a couple of years, no issues. Next thing is some scissors and some needles here. So just in this little plastic bag, just keep them waterproof. These are probably the world's greatest fold away scissors. I think these are from Fiskars. They come in their sewing kit. You can just go online and order these Fisker travel scissors or stowaway scissors, and they're really high quality steel, super sharp. Unlike normally when you get in a sewing kit, they're just the material doesn't get cut; it just sort of gets mangled by it. And I find these are incredibly sharp. I use these to cut these here, and so I know they work. So this little pair of fold away Fisker scissors, and then I've got a couple of stick needles, just in some cardboard here to keep them from poking anything. And then I got a couple of needles, and these needles are pre-thread. They're just standard sewing needles, pre-thread with cotton thread, and these are used for piercing a blister, and then leaving the thread in there, and draining it. And the reason you use cotton as opposed to nylon is because it drains it a little bit better. And I've just got two of those, and they're pre-thread, and they're just sitting in this cardboard. And I use that. Cut a little slit right there to keep the thread secured, and that just goes in the little plastic bag with the scissors. So the next part is these donuts, and this is just Moleskin, standard old Moleskin. You can get any kind. I haven't necessarily found that the name brand stuff is any better than the generic stuff. So why not just use the generic stuff? And I just pre-cut some donuts here, various sizes. And if you don't know, this is how you do a blister. You don't cover the blister entirely. What you do is, if you have the blister here, got a little hot spot going. There's your blister, and instead of covering it entirely to keep it from rubbing, you should put a donut around it. So just cut a little piece out with it raised, let that thing breathe, and then then you can, if you wanted to, you could cover it. But it just keeps that friction off, because there's three things. You need three things to form a blister. You need heat, friction, and moisture. So if you can keep that friction off that by protecting with that donut, you'll keep that blister from getting any worse. If you wanted to, you could then cover that again, but you want to keep that. If I find it, if you just cover it with standard moleskin without creating a donut, you'll still get a little friction on there, and it'll kind of push it back and forth. Because you got to remember that blister is compromised skin now. It's lifted off the next layer of dermis, and so you want to protect that as much as you can. Surround it with a donut, then maybe cover it. I prefer just to leave it out like that. So I just got some various sizes here, pre-cut, ready to go, so I can make that pit stop quickly, and then a couple of pieces that are not cut in case I have to customize custom size one or whatnot. And I just keep those all stacked and clean in a Ziploc bag. And then the last thing in a separate zippy is another larger piece of moleskin in case I got something that outshines or outsizes the other ones that I have. I've got a little bit of Vaseline petroleum gauze. And so again, heat, friction, and moisture, and the Vaseline helps me reduce that friction. If I got a spot just starting up, I can kind of get a little Vaseline on there. And I prefer these gauze pads because you can open this up and get a little gauze out of it, rub that right on the spot, or put your finger on it, and then rub it on the blister, and then just close that back up, and it doesn't leak anywhere. So if you have little tubes or little jars of it, I find that they oftentimes the lid pops open and a little bit of pressure that squeezes and it leaks. So I just prefer this petroleum gauze here. I've got a stack of these. I think I've had the same 10 for the last 10 years. I've never had an issue with them. And then the last thing I have is these alcohol wipes. So these are good because they're a good size. They're if you have the little prep pads, the little 1 inch by 2 inch prep pads, not enough alcohol on there, and they're just a pain in the ass to clean anything. Get these larger ones. These are a good size right here. I'll take one out and show you. These are 75% alcohol and resealable little packets. And look how big that is. That's a good size. You can wipe down both feet with one wipe and get them good and clean and sterilize it, and then sterilize your gear. But a good size, and there's 20 wipes in that pack right there, so that should last you a good while here. And they're fairly strong and just really good for sterilizing all your stuff, including your feet. And that's it. That's what makes up my foot care kit. I've always got that with me when I'm rucking. It weighs just a few ounces, if anything at all. You don't even notice it. I like this orange pack because I can quickly see it. It goes in my rucksack in the same spot all the time, every time. And I check it every couple of months just to make sure nothing's been cracked open or dried out, and that everything is clean and as sterile as I can get. Although I'm not really worried about sterility that much. Long term, just in the short term, I don't want to put funky stuff into my compromised skin there. So that's my foot care kit. That's what it looks like. Probably cost you, I don't know, maybe $20 to pull that together. Cost of everything, scissors maybe the most expensive thing. They're probably about $6. But other than that, there it is, foot care kit.